What is going on, Cupbangers? Today is May 26, 2016. I'm Alejandro, and let's talk about cars, yo. Hit it, Pedro! Ah! Oh my God! I'm out! In today's episode of Let's Talk About Cars, yo, we're gonna do something we haven't done in a while. I want to do a video comparison of the 675LT, which is what I'm sitting on, and my Porsche 918 Spyder. And the reason why you might be asking yourself, little Timmy, oh, Alejandro, those cars have nothing to do against each other. Why are you doing this? Well, Timmy, yes, you're right, 100%. Don't be a dick and never interrupt me again. Poor Timmy, I can already picture him like... Well, Timmy, let me tell you, you're 100% right. These cars have nothing to do with each other, but my problem is a lot of people are telling me I should keep the LT, and I want to illustrate why it's so hard for me to just say, yeah, that makes sense. And I think the 918 would be the best way to illustrate that and the best contender to do that. So let's start with this. What are the specs of this beautiful machine? We already know them, but we're gonna say it in case you're watching this video for the first time, or me in the McLaren for the first time. This is a McLaren 675LT. LT, we already know, stands for long tail, 675 for the horsepower, which really, you get 666 horsepower. In a 3.8 liter V8 engine twin turbo that produces 666 horsepower, guess what? That propels you from 0 to 60 in 3 seconds, flat out, son, which honestly, it feels quicker. But after those 3 seconds are gone, believe me, you're gonna go to hell quicker than you can possibly do in any other car in this. Really, really fast car. So that's what we're looking at. And what does all of that package get you, and for how much? Well, the friendly price of one of these, on average, for every single one that you see, it's $400,000. Between $400 and $420. I'm serious though, I'm dead serious. And for the money, I really think this might be the best car under $1 million. So let me start by telling you the things that I love about this car and explaining a bit. Then I'll tell you what I like about the 918. Then I'll tell you what I hate about this one, what I hate about the 918, and we'll do a summary. So let's start with the positives. What are the things that I love about the LT? Number one, and we already talked about it, the way it looks outside. I don't think the 918 looks better than the LT. I really don't. I think the 918 has some insane angles from outside, but you have to find them. I think the LT looks way better overall, easier on the eyes, friendly. The back though, I wish it had the P1 back like the HS, but tough shit. Still, the looks, this is my supermodel, homie. Number two, baby, and that is steering. How convenient we did that in the corner, huh? Actually a turn. The steering is incredible in this car. I mean, it's obviously adjustable to however you're driving the car. If it's sport, comfort or track, it'll adjust accordingly. But in regular mode, I drive the car in sport mode, and yes, I just checked to make sure that that's the case. The steering feels divine. I cannot wait to use this on the track. Steering goes to this car, hands down, no doubt. Then let's talk about the third one, which is brake feel. Not only the car brakes insanely well, but the feel is gorgeous. Why? Because he doesn't have that regenerative power bullshit on it. Imagine hitting the brakes, but there's a sponge in between. It's really weird. That's how the 918 feels and the LaFerrari feels. This, along with the P1, real raw brake feel, and it's great. You can't beat it. Number four, I mean, it's a rear-wheel drive car, so you get to have way more fun. It's a double-edged sword, though, if you feel like fucking around, honestly. This is great. Next one, adaptability. Homie, the suspension in this thing, the way you change the settings through the 3 different settings that you have, the car becomes a whole different thing with every single setting. It's not normal. It really is not normal. When you put it on sport, it's a little stiff like right now. And it drives really well. The steering is my favorite. You put it in comfort, you can't feel anything, and then you put it in track, and the thing becomes just so stiff, stiffer than your boy after watching Britney Spears back in 1999. Kids, take note. Get it, like that. Check, please. So yeah, the way the car adapts according to each setting is sublime. The 918 doesn't have that. It's either super stiff or stiffer. This is very, very user-friendly when you want to use it every day. It's a keyless car. I mean, you do need the key to open the car, but once you get in, you start it. It's a dumb thing, but I like that. I like that it's moving that way so that I don't have to get my key out of my pocket. Why? Because it's technology. It's going to happen eventually, and this car already has it. So kudos to McLaren on that one. And last but not least, again, I already said it, the price. I think this is an insane proposition for the value. At $400,000, This car can whip, and again, I still have yet to see the SV on the track, which we will. I just don't see how any other car aside from the SV would be a better value for the dollar. Up to $1 million, what else do you get? Insane, right? So the value would be another one of my favorites. And now we're sitting in my favorite child, and trust me, it's fine. Everyone knows already. The 918 Spyder Weissach, baby. This is the holy grail of cars to me today. This is as good as it gets. Yeah, if you get a LaFerrari, that's super cool, and I obviously want one, but this is the Mac Daddy of everything. This will chew everything apart. And I know that a lot of you guys are saying, whoa, the P1 and British TV. Don't worry. We're getting a set of Trofeo R's for our destroyers, and we're gonna put a set of Trofeo R's on the P1, and we're gonna race them. So don't worry about that. For now, let's pretend that what we did counts, because it does, and this is the fastest car in the world. But before diving into what I love about this car, which pretty much everyone knows already, let me start by telling the specs in case someone's watching that's never seen me do one of these. This is the 918 Spyder by Porsche. This car has a V8 4.6 liter engine that produces 600 horsepower and 2 battery motors that produce combined another 287 horsepower. There's one motor on the front, one on the back. It's an all-wheel drive car, and that catapults this missile from 0 to 60 in only 2.2 fucking seconds. I swear to God, and it feels even faster sometimes when you get it in the right conditions. It's crazy. Now, let me jump into things that I love, because number one is that acceleration. There's nothing better than just being able to shit on anyone and anything you see on the street or on the track just by putting that foot down. Oh my God! Number two, it comes with acceleration, but that instant torque, it'll get you out of a bind at any point. What do I mean by that? Oh, son! Wow, the combination of that V8 motor on the back and the battery motors, oh, it's so good. It's so good. Instant torque, yes. Thank you very much, Porsche. I appreciate that. Next point, related to the same thing, it's the fastest thing on the track. Nothing can beat it. Nothing. And you guys can say whatever you want. I guarantee you nothing stock will beat a 918 stock. Nothing. Nothing, nothing, nothing. The day that new car comes out and it really shits on this one and it's a car you can use every day and reliable, that day we'll look at that. Right now, this is the Mac Daddy of the track, the 918, baby. I love that. I love how fast it is around the track. Yeah, it doesn't adapt as much as the P1 as far as your suspension and everything else goes, but does that matter? No, because it's a really good package. It's a really, really good package. And let's break down a few of those things that are really great about it. This, for example, has an insanely good lift. The moment you press this little button, the car goes up, boop, and comes down. So the lift is way better on this thing. Number two, the height clearance on the front. It's not that close to the floor. And that is awesome. Awesome, because you can take it pretty much anywhere you want. The interior, come on. This is, forget about the combination that I have. The interior on a 918 is the sickest interior of any fast car you've ever seen, or at least that I've ever seen. How about that? Because you guys will have different tastes. All of the technology, both screens, the one that's useless, kind of like the McLaren one that the sun hits and everything, and then you have the one on the front, that, the carbon fiber usage, I mean, everything, the buttons are exquisite. It's Porsche quality. Porsche quality to the max. So, are you ever gonna beat that? No, the sound system in this thing is amazing. I mean, you really don't feel like you're in a sports car whenever you want to blast some good music. It's really that good. And now jumping into my favorite next feature would be E-mode. Listen to that silence. You want to sneak out of your house, go see your lovers like I do all the time, right, babe? My wife makes fun of me because she thinks that even if I tried, I wouldn't be able to catch any mistresses. So, and going from something like E-mode, let me contradict myself real quick, because the noise the naturally aspirated V8 engine makes is second to none. Listen. And that's just a little taste. You guys know the noise it makes if you've listened to any other video. I mean, God, it's delicious. Another favorite of mine is the price. And I know it sounds ridiculous, but this is a little over $1 million. Sticker. That is a lot of value, a lot of value. So if you were gonna sell this in today's market, this might be the best car, the 918, because the P1's out there in the $2 million range. So there can be no argument. This up to $1.5, $1.7 million is the best purchase for the money no doubt about it, hands down, of any other car maker. That is that fucking good. This is a monster of a car. This is something that I could have never dreamed of having, by the way. This is way beyond that. That's how good this thing is all around. Another mega favorite of mine is the use of launch control in this car. It's so easy. All you need to do is set up your car in stiff mode, which is basically sport mode on the suspension. Step on the brake and step on the gas. That's it. There's nothing else you need to do. Nothing else. And the last one that this one has over the McLaren, the ability to make those turns. In the McLaren, the turn ratio is fucking horrendous. Horrendous. You can't make any U-turn even if you have like 30 lanes. I mean, it's crazy. Crazy. This is really manageable. This is a small car, easy to drive, easy to see out. So yeah, that would be my next one. Leaving the happy notes and going into what are the things I hate about this car. And it's not that I hate, it's things that I really don't fucking like about it. So let's start with the one that I already complained about, the lift system. I understand that there's a way to get in there and do it quicker and everything. Guys, it takes fucking forever, and I think it's because the entire car races. So even if that's the case, it's a pain in the ass. It takes forever. Sounds easy, but trust me, it's a pain in the ass. The interior. Even though I really personally like the interior, I love the Alcantara use and I love the carbon fiber use, this is, in all honesty, one of the most boring cars to be sitting inside. Oh, also, not to mention, all McLarens pretty much look the same. The car is really, really damn low. And I understand that you have a lift system, but I mean really fucking low. That splitter on the front is... I mean, it hits everywhere. Even when you're in normal traffic, if you go through a bad bump, the car will scrape. No bueno. I've hit the bottom of the front splitter quite a lot of times, and I'm pretty good at that. So, the next one that I just found out, actually, if you want to replace a tire, fix a tire, or anything, you need to take the car to the fucking dealership. Why? Because they don't give you the lock to unlock the fucking bolts on the tires. That's right. And can you buy one? We better, because we're gonna need it for what we're gonna be doing at Thermal. So, yeah, McLaren, I understand that it's a money business, but it's such a fucking inconvenience for anyone that really drives the cars and takes them places. So, don't do that. And last but not least, the seats. Even though they're super cool and they're grabby and they do hug you pretty damn well, down here in your lower back, you feel like you need to throw it like that. Who the fuck sits like this? Aside from me when I'm not sitting in a regular chair. But honestly, who sits like this? So those are all the things I hate about the McLaren LT 675. And how do they stack up against the 918? I guess we'll see. Let's talk about some of the negatives about the 918. And this is the only time you'll hear me say them, because I hate talking and saying negative shit about things that I love, or in general, but mostly things that I love. Let's start with the brake feel. I told you already, guys, about this, and I hate it with a passion. It's not nice, it's not comfortable. You never know when you're doing it too much, too little for normal driving. I guess it's easy to figure out when you're driving like this, but like really stop and go traffic, it's really bad and it's really annoying. I don't know, I just don't like the way it feels. So the next point would be getting in and out of the car. Dude, it's a pain in the ass, because if you can't see, the area where the car starts is right here. So for me to get here every single time, I need to put the seat all the way to the back and then bring it all the way back on the front. I know that's not a big deal, but it's really annoying when you're doing it several times in one day. And the least favorite thing that I have, or thing that I hate about this car, would be that every time you have a problem with the car, you take it to the dealer and there's got to be a 918 specialist on that dealer. And for the most part, anytime you see anything wrong with the car, they have to take apart the whole fucking thing. It's crazy the amount of hours pulling it apart and putting it back together. Insane. It doesn't affect me, other than, you know, I don't get to drive it as often as I would like to whenever there's something wrong, or if there's anything wrong, or there's like a service of any kind. But that's as bad as it really gets. Even in emo, this thing is quick, huh? Yeah. So all in, after listening to myself and saying it out loud and driving both cars back to back like this, I have to say, this is such a hard thing to get rid of, because this is the best car, in my opinion, on the planet today. So when I'm talking about like giving some driving time to the LT instead of this one, it's nice because you're not putting the miles on the expensive car, but you also want the best driving experience that you can possibly get that day, right? Unless you want to go for something completely different, which we might be talking about a manual car, a car without any assistance whatsoever. So that's why two cars, same category, that are not really in the same category. And that's just for you guys to understand where I'm coming from when you guys tell me keep the LT. So what do you guys think? What do you think the LT should replace in the garage if it should stay? For the record, I still have that Carrera GT and it looks like it's coming back to the garage stronger than ever. Maybe straight piping it? We'll see. All right, Cupbangers, let me know what you think in the comments down below. And thank you very much for watching. I really, really appreciate it. I never say this, but if you haven't, please subscribe to the channel because people do that online and I want to see what happens when I say it out loud. Subscribe to the channel. Please follow me on all my social media. I'm Salomondrin all across the board. Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat if you want to see some gross stuff. Holla at your boy. All right, fellas, have a good one. Take care.